Before 1948, British control over Malaya was well established, but indirect. The British ruled through an agreement with local Malay rulers, dividing the land into three main regions: the Strait Settlements, the Federated Malay States, and the Unfederated Malay States. The British economy in Malaya revolved around two key exports: tin and rubber. These resources brought immense profit to the British Empire, but offered little to the local people. To maintain control, the British used the divide and rule policy, keeping ethnic groups apart socially, economically, and politically. They imported laborers from China to do jobs in cities. They imported Indians, mainly Tamils, for work in the rubber estates. And the Malays were largely left to the villages, keeping their own sort of subsistence economies, except from the ruling elite who were incorporated into the British civil service. This made it harder for them to unite against colonial rule. In 1946, the British introduced the Malayan Union, a bold new plan to centralize power. But it quickly backfired. The Union reduced the authority of the Malay sultans and granted automatic citizenship to non-Malays. Worse still, it was introduced without consulting the locals. The response was swift and strong. The Malays, led by the newly formed United Malays National Organization, abbreviated as UMNO, rose in protest.
Sultan, kita telah dipintas. Orang kita diabaikan. Adalah ini keadilan.
Faced with this resistance, the British scrapped the Union. In its place, they created the Federation of Malaya in 1948, an attempt to calm tensions and regain local support. The failure of the Malayan Union was a turning point. It showed that colonial decisions, without local input, were no longer acceptable, and it marked the beginning of a new political era in Malaya.
With this, we turn a new page for a new chapter in Malaya.
Our people has long waited for this moment. Let us not be vain.
For the Malay rulers, this agreement represented a chance to restore the influence they had held before colonization. They regained authority over Islamic matters and Malay customs within their respective states. In addition, a new institution, the Conference of Rulers, was established, giving the sultans a united voice in nations' matters. This provided an important cultural and political safeguard for Malay identity in a rapidly changing society.
Meanwhile, the Malay rulers kept authority over religions and Malay custom, helping to preserve their culture and spiritual leadership. Citizenship was another key part of the Federation Agreement. Anyone born in the Federation of Malaya was granted citizenship automatically. But for those born outside, it wasn't as simple. They had to apply and qualify to become citizens, making the process harder for many, especially among the Chinese and Indian communities. These rules shaped the foundation of the Federation, deciding not just who rules, but who truly belongs.
The creation of the Federation of Malaya in 1948 affected every ethnic group differently. For the Malays, it was a welcome change. The Federation restored power to their rulers and protected their special rights. To many, it felt like a victory for tradition and identity. But the Chinese community felt differently. With tougher rules for citizenship and limited political voice, many were left frustrated and excluded. The Indian community shared similar struggles. Strict citizenship requirements and fewer rights made them feel left out of the national conversation. The British, on the other hand, supported the Federation. It brought political stability and helped fight the rising threat of communism during the post-war period.
though promoted as progress, federations like one in Malaya were often seen as new tools for colonial controls. They look like a step toward independence, but were, in many ways, carefully controlled structures to maintain power. In the end, the Federation of Malaya was both a beginning and a barrier, a moment of unity, yet still a reminder of who truly held the power.